Yellow to all the comic fans, superhero geeks, and every nerd in between. This is Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and today we are going to talk about the Creature Commandos and that wild finale. If you've kept up with my reviews, then you know that I've reviewed every single episode of Creature Commandos, and having absolutely no prior knowledge on any of these characters, well, besides Rick Flag Sr. and Amanda Waller, you can't really not know them. So it's been a really fun ride to learn about these characters and see them in action. I'm actually super bummed that we're at the end of the season, but really excited that the show has already been renewed for a season 2. So let's get into this finale titled A Very Funny Monster, which I guess the title goes a little over my head, but whatever. Creature Commandos Episode 7 reveals Nina's origins, confirming that she was born with her lungs outside her body and full of liquid, and her scientist father, Edward, built a temporary device to keep her alive. Her mother did not like that. I guess it just broke all her beautiful dreams of having a perfect child. Her mom was a piece of trash. But Dad of the Year. You go, Edward. Love to see it. Moving on, Eric Frankenstein is shown taking a taxi to Castle Rostovik to reunite with the bride. He hopes to reunite with the bride, while Nina wonders if Task Force M is doing the right thing by trying to kill Princess Ileana. I think we go back and forth a lot of that in this episode, and I'm still not sure if what happened was warranted. Task Force M discovers security footage of Clayface with the princess days earlier. That's something to keep in mind. Eric arrives and is shot multiple times by the bride and subsequently spit on, which I love to see because good job to the bride. Also, Eric, take the hint, but, whatever. Nina's mother leaves due to what she sees as a poor quality of life for Nina. Later, Edward transforms Nina's DNA, turning her into the mermaid with fins and gills, so she requires water to breathe. I want to say I understand her mother Lily's point, but I feel like I relate a lot more to the dad, as I'm sure many will. It kind of takes us to another conversation we don't really need to have. Task Force M finds an entry point to the castle courtyard while Ileana refuses to cower and goes for her morning swim, because she is that bitch. Weasel doesn't want to kill the princess, as she had been nice to him and reminds him of the girl he tried to save and that she played catch with him for hours. And I get the Weasel's point. I get it. But also, there was at some point in this show where I was like, just kill her. Just get it done. Take care of it. This is way more trouble than it's worth. Nina attends school, but is ostracized and bullied, resulting in her running away from home to live in the sewers and rivers. I cannot say none of us saw this happening. As soon as he said that she was going to start public school, I think we're all like, bro, that's probably not the best idea. Your child is a fish. But he tried. Flag wakes up from his coma and tells Amanda Waller she was wrong about the princess. This motivates Waller and John to investigate and discover the truth about McPherson and Clayface, leading them to believe that Cersei was lying. So that happened. Task Force M convinces Nina to kill the princess from underwater during her swim. And you know what? Nina did her best there. Nina gets documented in Star City and a public hunt begins for the mermaid's capture. When she's caught, Edward tries pushing through the crowd to get to Nina and is shot by the police. This part, this is when I was like, damn it, James Gunn. Because you were kind of like, okay, we saw her origin, she left home, went to live in the sewers, police caught her. And then when I saw her dad, I was like, oh my God, no, don't do this. And he was shot right in front of her. He was a good dad his whole time of being a father. He was a good dad. He did everything for her. She even said it. And James Gunn, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. Raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by James Gunn, because that's where I'm at right now. But moving on, Weasel tries to save the princess, alerting her to Nina's presence underwater. After a struggle, the princess kills Nina right before Waller calls to cancel the hit. I think I'd be more sad about Nina's death if her dad hadn't died, oddly enough, because it's like, as cruel as it is to say, like, she really had no one. I think it would have been much more sad if her dad didn't die and saw on the news that she died. But I mean, I guess that's a what if scenario. Also, can we put the blame on the weasel for her death? Because Nina was going to carry it out until the weasel got out of hand. But then it goes back. Is it Dr. Phosphorus and the bride's fault? Because they didn't keep their hand on the weasel. Everyone can be judged here, and that's okay. The bride meets with the princess in the aftermath, understanding that Cersei was telling the truth, but that Ileana had used Clayface to make the vision seem less credible, as she indeed wants to start World War III. Look, I think it was a good switcheroo she pulled there, because once Amanda Waller called it off, it was like, okay, well, now they're going to go like protect her. But she still killed Nina. So like the bride, she's not out of pocket for this. I think it's fair. The bride kills the princess as vengeance for Nina's death before she leaves Pakistan. Before she leaves Pakistan with Dr. Phosphorus and Weasel. John shows the bride her new team, Dr. Phosphorus, She-Bat, one character I don't know who it is. I tried. Weasel, and an upgraded GI Robot and King Shark. I cannot tell you how happy I was to see GI Robot. He's back, guys. He's back. Thank the Lord. But I will say, two of these characters, I didn't know who it was, and I tried to do my research. So if anyone knows, it's She-Bat. I don't know the other one, so please let me know in the comments, because like I said before, I'm still learning. I'm trying here. So that ends the episode, but there's a post-credit scene for Creature Commandos that confirms Eric Frankenstein is still alive. He is eating a very disgusting soup with an old lady, and if history shows us, he's probably going to end up taking her out. So that'll probably happen. The show, I think in general, did really well at showcasing these characters, making us care for these characters. It's what James Gunn does. It's what he did. He did The Guardian of the Galaxy. He did it with Creature Commandos. And I really appreciated the show. I'm glad I watched it. I was pretty nervous to jump in at the beginning because, like I said, I didn't know much about most of the characters. But I've learned a good bit, and I've started to have an emotional attachment to these characters, and I really can't wait to see what he does with season 2. We were left with a few questions, I guess, like what happened to Rick Flag? What's going to happen now that the bride offed the princess? What's Rick Flag going to do about that? What's going on with Cersei? Clayface, where's he? There's a lot of questions I want answered, but also I kind of just want them to move forward and show me more characters. So, what did you guys think of it? Did you like it? Did you love it? I want to know all of it. I had a lot of fun with it. I think James Gunn did a really good job. I think it was a great thing to show us what we have in store for the new DCU, for James Gunn's DCU. That's really it. I think it was great. I'd give the season probably an 8.8 out of 10 overall. I liked the finale. It felt slightly not strong enough for a finale, but it still flowed really, really well with the season. So that's like my one thing. I mean, if you're reviewing a show, you know nothing about the characters. I mean, that's really not something big. So, like I said, let me know in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you agree with me? I really hope you agree with me, because it'll be really awkward if you don't. So, thank you for listening. Wherever you're watching or listening to this, please hit that subscribe button and have a marvelous day.